14-0 at the half, and Phyllis said the Rams are playing like they want to go home. And Irv Cross incentive has got to be a big difference in this game.
That's really the key, Brett. You know, Phyllis, I don't know what's going through the Rams' minds right now, but I know the Redskins right now feel their lives are on the line. They're playing their hearts out, and as far as they're concerned, today is the day.
Phyllis, a couple of teams that are watching this game right now, well, the Minnesota Vikings, they play later today, and of course, tomorrow it's the Chicago Bears and the New York Giants. It's the first time that the Bears and the Giants have met in a game that meant anything, well, since way back, remember when? A bitter cold December afternoon. 14 years ago, Wrigley Field, the 1963 NFL championship game matching the Bears and the Giants. And at the time that afternoon, George Halas was a mere lad of 68. He prowled the sidelines across the field from the then New York Giant head coach, Allie Sherman. And do you remember who led Sherman's offense? Dashing, daring quarterback by the name of Yelverton Abraham Tittle. Who were his backs that day? Joe Morrison, Phil King, Hugh McElhaney. Remember who his receivers were? Del Schaffner, and who's that? Frank Gifford. He hasn't aged a day, has he, folks? Halas also had a young assistant coach by the name of George Allen, who obviously was up in the booth. And Allen built a defense that held the Giants to just 10 points and intercepted 5 tosses that December afternoon. Now, 2 of the interceptions set up Chicago's 2 touchdowns. This is Larry Morris, number 33. He's returning one 61 yards, and that led to the Bears' go-ahead touchdown. Who else was on that Bear defense that day? Bill George, Joe Fortunato, Doug Atkins, Ed O'Bradovich, Richie Pettibone. Believe me, they were monsters of the Midway that afternoon, and they hobbled Tittle and drove him to the sidelines before the end of the half. Glenn Griffey came in and replaced him, and in the second half, Tittle did return to that championship game, but he was a wounded general, ineffective, and he was unable to rally the Giants against the Bears. Meanwhile, Bear quarterback Billy Wade repeatedly ran the late Willie Gallimore, number 28. And along with Gallimore, used number 29, Ronnie Bull. He passed that afternoon to Mike Ditka, Joe Marconi, Johnny Morris, and that set up the 2 Billy Wade plunges that gave Chicago a 14-10 victory. But that was 14 years ago, the last time Papa Bear coached the Bears to a league championship, and the last time that the Bears and the Giants played each other with anything at all in stake in the NFL.
Papa Bear is one of the most wonderful men I've ever met. And how do you know so much about back in 1963? Were you there?
That afternoon, Phyllis, I was covering the game for the late lamented Chicago American newspaper, and I remember before the game that Bill George, Larry Morris, and Freddie Williams were kidding each other because Sport Magazine was going to give a Corvette out. And they said, well, if any of the 3 of us wins it, we'll divide it up 3 ways. Well, wouldn't you know it, Larry Morris won the car. Now, how do you divide a Corvette up 3 ways between those 3 guys?
It's really tough. It was cold that afternoon, too, wasn't it?
We've come a long way.